Hi guys, welcome back to Hear Me Out. I'm E.
I'm D.
And today we're going to discuss season 5, episode 2 of The Kardashians. Now, I don't know the title of this because I'm so uninterested in this season and the Kardashians in general, but maybe us talking about it will kind of start to like them again. Very unlikely because this has been terrible so far. But we're going to read an article, obviously, give you our opinions on the episode, and we'll go from there.
Okay, so this is an article from sportskeeda.com. And yeah, they don't have the title on here, but they provide a recap and some more details. So, to get started, episode 1 of The Kardashians saw most of the Kardashian sisters in Paris attending Paris Fashion Week. And then on Thursday, May 30th, episode 2 was released, picking up right where episode 1 left off. It saw Kendall walking the L'Oreal Paris show held under the Eiffel Tower as Kris Jenner cheered. Back in LA, Khloe and Kourtney prepped a hospital bag as Kourtney was in her last month of the pregnancy. The end of the episode saw the watch party for Kim's season of American Horror Story. Her role in the show was celebrated by friends and family and also generated great reviews online, which was a moment of pride for the Kardashians. So, what went down on The Kardashians season 5, episode 2? So it started off with Kris and Corey going on a romantic Paris date. While there, Kris was grateful for her relationship with Corey and shared that they had been together for 10 years now. Wild. I had no idea. With the glistening Eiffel Tower in the background, Kris video called Kourtney and Khloe to share the special moment with them. So back in LA, Khloe visited Kourtney, where she spoke with her about problems she'd been facing since Tristan went to Cleveland. She said that she has a lot of help, and after him, she had been doing everything for the kids by herself, which made her consider the option of hiring a nanny. Okay, so we'll get to this last part here and then we'll discuss that. So back in Paris, Kris was seen attending the prestigious L'Oreal Paris show, which was held right under the Eiffel Tower after she and Kim struggled to make the Victoria Beckham show in time. The last episode, Kris made it a point to reach the L'Oreal Paris show well in time. She hooted and cheered as Kendall walked the stage, accompanied by backup dancers. All right, so before we continue, what do we think about the fact that Kris and Corey have been together for 10 years, and then Khloe's visit to Kourtney regarding her what is it, pregnancy bag, hospital bag, and then also the lack of help that she claims she has.
Man, I can't believe they've been together for 10 years. Like, that is crazy. How long have we been watching the Kardashians at this point?
My
Like 2 decades? Like, that really
way.
makes me feel good for her, terrible for me because I've really been keeping up with their life. But, I'm surprised it lasted. I didn't think it was, especially with the age difference. They did discuss it on the show.
Yeah.
But, when it works, it works. I don't know what's keeping them together.
Yeah.
But I can say that Kris seems to be like a lively person.
Yeah.
She loves her martinis. She loves going on her yacht trips. We do see that. So I think she's probably pretty young in spirit.
Oh, for sure.
The irony of it all is that Kris seems to keep relationships a long time and her daughters don't. I know that's a low blow. It's not really intended to be. It's just, I know that we discussed, I don't know in which video we did, where, all the trauma that they've dealt with could have been inherited from the mom and the relationship with men and things like that. So I'm thinking of that conversation, and her being with Corey for 10 years is crazy. She was with Bruce, now Caitlyn, for how many years? Decades.
Yeah, I think so.
With Robert Kardashian Sr. before everything went down, a few years.
Yeah.
So for the most part, she's had long-term relationships. And then when we compare that to the relationships that the daughters have had, Kourtney seems to be successful at this marriage with Travis now, but we know about Scott's history.
Right.
and all that turmoil and all that drama that brought out. We know Tristrash, obviously. We've been dealing with that for 5 years now.
I know.
And it's still going on because he's still in this show, season 5. We've seen Kim married 3 times
Yeah,
with Kanye about, or now known as Ye, for 7 years, I believe it is.
I think so.
Uh, Kendall, we we know she has a basketball roster. I'm not shaming her. I'm just saying things. And then Kylie, we know that she was with Travis, but then when did they break up? When did they have air? When did they break up again? She's now with Timothée, but we don't really know if she is.
Right.
So I'm not saying it to bash. I'm just saying as a comparison. Like, I just can't understand how all the trauma that we discussed,
Yeah.
and then she's here with Corey 10 years later, a whole decade, and then her daughters are in disarray romantically. I guess Courtney not anymore, but
Yeah.
it's crazy.
It is. And yeah, I mean, the way you pointed out, that's very true. I don't know, maybe it could be that because like Chris in some ways is old school, right? Like she
Mm.
comes from a different generation. And I think for a lot of like the older generations, they stick it out. They stay in these relationships, whether they're fully happy or not. They stick it
Yeah.
out. And for our generation, younger generations, like we will be quick to leave. Things get tough, it's time to go. Like, so I think maybe that could be like playing a role that there is like a significant difference. I mean, we saw Courtney try for years and
Yeah.
years to make things work with Scott. Um, and it's crazy to see the
And
difference.
Chloe with Tristrash and Kim with Kanye.
Yeah.
We seen it.
We've definitely seen them try to like keep it together, hold the family together. But I mean, ultimately, in these situations, it gets to a point, or they've all seemingly reached a point where there is no return.
Yeah.
Um, I'm glad Scott's doing better. Um, I'm glad Kanye has somebody else. And I'm glad that Chloe's not with Trish Trash. But still, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, maybe because they were trying so hard to kind of emulate their mom or to like stay in these relationships, they maybe stayed in them for too long. And so now, aside from Courtney, the others are having like the struggle of finding the right person for them. Um, but it can happen. Obviously, it happened for Courtney later in life, so it can definitely happen, you know, for them also. As far as Chris and Corey, they're weird to me, so I don't really have much more to say. Yeah, I really have not much more to say about them at all.
What were the other topics?
So Chloe needing an
Oh,
overnight nanny, being with, you know, Courtney and all that.
well, if you guys watched our season 5, episode 1 recap, we discussed that, that was pretty out of touch for Chloe to say.
Yeah.
There's thousands, millions of single moms who have to wear both hats, cook, clean, help the kids, help them with their homework, take them to school, sleep for like 10 minutes,
Right.
do it all over again.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of surprised and disappointed that she said something like that. I'd rather just it be understood that you have a nanny. I honestly don't find a problem with it. If
Yeah.
I can afford, like I said in the other episode, a personal assistant because I don't have kids, I would do it.
Yeah.
If I could have a chef, I would. If I have kids and I could have a nanny, I would too. I don't see a problem with it.
Yeah.
I think that sometimes women can be, the most critical or, our worst enemies towards
Yeah.
each other. I'm like, who wants to see a mom that's so beat down and tired? Whether you work or you stay at home, it's still a job.
Right.
Um, so if you can have the additional help, I don't see a problem with it, to be
Yeah.
honest. I think it's a problem if they're raising your kids. I don't think it's a problem if it's a couple of hours. So I
Right.
can go to the gym so I can, I don't know, go do some other thing that's mom related, but not with the kids, like go do groceries or something.
Yeah.
Or just if I just need a moment to like sleep, I don't see a problem with it. But her saying it, oh my God, I have to do it by myself and Tristan's gone. First of all, nobody wants Tristan around. Only you.
That
Girl, you should be counting your blessings. You don't want him around. So why are you complaining that he's not around?
right.
Scott's there. He'll be more than happy to pick up the slack. He's
Mm-hmm.
trying to stay relevant on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see the carpools. That would be fun. What kind of music do y'all really listen to? What are the kids really doing? I want to see that. But yeah, that was a little out of touch for her. What do you think?
No, I totally agree, and I think ultimately, like you said, if you have the means, you can afford it, go for it.
Yeah.
Because I think that our culture here in America, it does emphasize basically the woman having to do everything. Because the man is not expected to take time off to take care of a kid. When a kid
Not
gets
me. No,
sick,
sorry.
when a kid gets sick, it's the mom that has to take off work and be there
Yeah.
for them. So essentially America is driving mothers to the ground having to do multiple things. So yeah, if you can get the help, if you are fortunate enough to be able to afford the help, do it. But like you said, the rearing of the child or the raising of the child, that should be the parent. So that does kind of feel awkward, right? If you're they can have like a living nanny, that also seems a little like much maybe. Considering that,
Full pairs that live in with them and
yeah, but I think like in some to some extent I can see that happening if like, okay, you do have work or you do have things that additionally you'll need to do, right? Or like if you travel for work or whatnot. But as we discussed in the other video, the work comes to Chloe. Chloe doesn't have to go to an office 9 to 5.
yeah.
So I think there's some slight differences there. But yeah, anyway, it was a little disappointing to hear something so out of touch coming from her when she's always been like the most relatable Kardashian. Um, but anywho, that was whatever. And then so the other I guess like point was just how Chris was FaceTiming her daughters um during her romantic dinner with her boo of 10 years, which was a little bit like, girl, what are you doing? Like,
He was tipsy.
she really was. Oh my gosh, she really was. Okay, so
Or
the
she
part,
she wanted a good moment for TV. I don't want to say that she was tipsy and she wasn't. It was a good TV moment. Let's share.
but the last part about that, Kendall walking the L'Oreal show and having backup dancers. What do we think about that?
So it was kind of weird.
Yeah.
It seemed like I know Eva Longoria was there.
Hmm.
What was her name? Andy McDowell.
Uh-huh. Yes.
She was there. So it seemed like they didn't have that much hoopla surrounding them, or at
Yeah.
least what we saw of the show. And
Right.
then Kendall just comes out in this sparkly disco ball looking kind of dress, like she just owns the show, or
Right.
she's the ambassador of the ambassadors. Kind So I kind of didn't like that.
Yeah.
They didn't put. I mean, and this is the Kardashian show, obviously. But I feel like they should have just put emphasis on the other people as
Yeah.
well. If it's a moment celebrating women and
Hmm.
you know, Kendall gave this whole spiel. It's like, oh, they represent me so well and women's empowerment. Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
Well, then show us what that is. You had an opportunity. We have a Latina there. We have great actresses there. We models. So
Yeah.
it would have been nice to see more of an interaction, not this Kendall focused thing. I don't know. It was weird. It was just weird. I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's another way in which we see the Kardashians basically trying to fight a headline. So, the same way that in the previous episode, Kylie was trying to say, no, I wasn't late to the Dolce show. or Kim and trying to say, no, Anna and Winter and I get along. This is Kendall saying, like, see, I work, I am a model. This is why I deserve to get paid. Like, I feel like that's kind of the vibes that I got from it. It's just like fighting a headline or fighting the internet and people feeling like she doesn't do anything worthy of being the highest paid model. So that's kind of what it felt like. So I just really was like, okay, like, great. And then,
Why do the Kardashians care about what people think at this point? I think it's
oh,
dumb.
they totally do though. They totally still do. After all these years, they still think or they still care that much what people are saying because that's literally what they're doing. And Scott is another one helping them get to these, combat these headlines and all that. And it's just like they like to pretend like they don't care. They like to say they don't give a damn about this or that, but they do. And they utilize their show to like essentially try to beat a headline, trying to beat the trolls or whatnot, when really if they just go back to how they used to be within the show when they had like keeping up, all of that stuff would sort itself out, and maybe people wouldn't even care so much about some of these headlines. But the fact that they kind of make it a point to bring those headlines back, because mind you, this was all filmed over 6 months ago,
Yeah.
so people aren't even thinking about these things anymore, but you're bringing it back. Like that's, I don't know, redundant. Anyway, let's continue.
It's giving insecure. All right, go ahead.
Yes, you're right. So back again in LA, Kim was visited by the maker of American Horror Story, Ryan Murphy, on the Kardashians. He commended her for doing well while shooting the show, despite her inexperience in the acting field. He also said that the makers had asked him if he thought Kim would say yes to doing a show on her own. Kim and Chris seemed excited as Ryan started narrating the plot to them. He said he wanted her to play the most expensive divorce lawyer, which was liked by both him and Chris, but they discussed how much Kim had on her plate and that they'd have to figure out how they could fit this show into her schedule. At Courtney's house, she showed off the scrapbook she took hours to make to her friends who loved her dedication and work. She then recorded a bedtime story for her little one. Meanwhile, Chloe met with Kylie for a quick catch up. So before we get into the Chloe and Kylie catch up, let's discuss the Ryan Murphy trying to give Kim Kardashian a show thing, and then as well the Courtney scrapbooking phenomenon that we have going on here. What do we think?
Man, I think the most untalented people or just people that have all this attention get all these opportunities, and who there's like tons of people trying to make it into Hollywood and trying to catch this breakout role, but yet we're here focused on, oh, the low hanging fruit. It's like, oh, the Kardashians are going to bring
Not the
ratings.
low-hanging fruit.
I'm like, what happened to the time where we would really find that gem, that diamond in the rough, like that person at the mall that it was like, hey, you're cute, you could be a model. Remember all those stories from way back when? It's
Yes.
like, oh, I didn't even want to act. They just saw me in this, I don't know, McDonald's, and they're like, hey, I think you did great. What happened to that?
Uh,
Kim conveniently playing a divorce lawyer. First of all, let's get this law degree because this is funny. This is hilarious to me. This is a joke. You cannot.
okay.
So basically, you're playing yourself or you're playing your mom. I'm like, if you want to be this actress, like, let's see some dimension. Why don't you reach for the stars and do something out of your comfort zone? I don't know, be a drama actress or something. Really a divorce lawyer just because you have experience getting divorced and because you want to be a so-called attorney? That doesn't make any sense to me. And Chris is only happy because she's going to get 10% of this.
Naturally, momager of the year. Um,
I know that was me.
I totally agree with you. It okay. She's done this one show, and they're wanting to give her her own show based off of this. Like, do you know how
Easy.
wild? Like, that's insane. Because yeah, you have lifetime career actors who work their asses off to be able to just even get like a recurring guest spot on a show, and they're wanting to give her her own show. It just doesn't make sense in my mind. And then, like we've talked about before, her having a million and one things on her plate. Pick pick one. Pick one and finish it. Like, you want to be a lawyer? Become a lawyer. You want to be an actress? Become an actress. But like, these are full-time things. These aren't just like, oh, let me dabble in a little bit of law here. Let me dabble in some acting here. Like, these are things that are time consuming. These are things that are someone's craft, a career. These aren't like side projects. These aren't side hustles.
Yeah.
So which one is it? Are you wanting to be taken serious as an actress? Are you wanting to be taken serious as an attorney? Are you wanting to be taken serious as a businesswoman? Which one is it? Pick a lane. I'm not saying that you can't have multiple careers or multiple things. If you have the means, great. But the thing is, you are constantly promoting this sort of like work ethic on your show at this point. And it's a reminder of what she said during that one interview where she's like, I feel like women are lazy. They just need to get their butts off and go to work. Okay. Like, is that you're trying to show us that that's what you do? You get your butt off the couch and you go to work every day? That's great. Meanwhile, who's raising your kids? Like, not to be disparaging as far as parenting, but you are also a mother. How like if Chloe's over here talking about struggling to take care of everything and we know her job comes to her and she's needing to like possibly get an overnight nanny, what is Kim doing? And she's mentioned how it's a balancing act. Being a mom, taking care of her kids while simultaneously trying to do all these other business endeavors. I don't know. I don't really understand like how a
Mm-hmm.
person spread themselves that thin.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just felt like weird that whole scene, her being offered something that like, okay, criticize me as you want, something that she's not deserving of. It boils down to she's not someone deserving of such a thing. But we know that that's Hollywood, right? Like the nepotism and all that. Like people just get things handed to them so easily without really having to try hard or work hard for any of it.
You have a good point. This reminds me of the Kylie conversation that we had where we were talking about Kylie and all her businesses. She's dabbling into Kylie Baby, Kylie Swim, Kylie Cosmetics. It's like, girl, pick one. Like none of them are thriving at this point.
Right.
Whatever happened to them getting it back from Cody, like a certain percentage? We
Mm-hmm.
haven't heard anything about that.
Right.
So, I mean, you brought up a good point that Kim is spreading herself so thin. It,
Yeah.
like, what's the point? Like Courtney said, and I don't like quoting her. I was going to say quoting her. Courtney, what drives you? Like at this point, I'm even tired. Why are you doing this? This is the JLo effect. I
Yeah.
know. Guys, just check out all our videos and you'll see what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
This is something I said about JLo was she was jack of all trades, master of none.
Yes. Uh-huh.
JLo is over there singing, acting, uh, launching, these liquor brands or spirits. What else was she doing? She was doing lingerie or cosmetics.
Cosmetics too. Skincare, something like that. She does a
Yeah.
whole bunch of different sponsorships too.
So at this point, she just did all these things and she's not known for anything. It's like, okay, she's an okay actress. It's like, okay, you're singing. It was catchy because it was a beat and probably somebody was singing for you. You're promoting liquor, but then at the same time, we're talking about JLo, but at the same time, there's interviews of you saying you don't drink. So
Right.
you're selling us something you don't drink because you don't drink.
Right.
Then you're promoting your skincare, but then in other interviews, you're saying that vitamin C and olive oil are helping you not get any wrinkles and blah, blah, blah. So you're using household products or cooking products instead of your own things. Like it seems like disingenuous. So going back to Kim, she's over there being a half-ass actress. She's pretty successful with her skins. I got to give her that.
Yeah, for sure.
What happened to Sky Partners? We had a video talking about that and how compared to Serena Williams
Yeah.
and her $1 billion, what do they call it? Unicorn something?
Yeah.
Unicorn, unicorn, whatever.
Yeah.
Serena Williams has been very successful, unlike Kim, who is struggling to get investors and raising capital for these companies. So what are we doing here, ma'am? And fast forward to episode 3, which I haven't finished. Kim is talking about how she wishes that she was a little more like Chloe, I guess, parenting wise, say no more, but she just like gives in to the kids. And I think it's associated with guilt
Oh, for
because
sure.
she's not present. It's like, well, the least I could do is just like give them stuff and things
Yeah.
like that. But she can't take these moments back.
Yeah.
So that's pretty upsetting. I know that was a big old rant.
No, but I mean, right, like I haven't even started episode 3, guys, I'll be honest. So we're not even going to talk about Courtney's scrapbooking. It's a little weird. So let's go to the next thing.
It's the most normal thing. Courtney is really trying to give old school keeping up, even though she got kind of Megan Foxy
with
the
blood.
vials. I'd be like, you're doing the most with the least. You got to stop, girl. You're not, what is it called? Grungy? Like,
yeah, emo, all that.
You're not this person. And I think it's okay. I think Travis is still going to like you if you went back to normal. But at this point, I don't know what normal is for her.
I don't either. I don't. But yeah, you're right. She at least is kind of giving more of the keeping up with the Kardashians vibe.
Yeah.
So I do commend her for that. It is still a little weird, but I commend her for that. And I do think it's sweet that she keeps so many mementos of like their relationship. It almost feels like back in the day when we were in high school and we would keep all of our movie stubs and the first letter the boy wrote to it, all these little things here and there that eventually went in the trash after a breakup. Okay, so moving forward. Discussing Chloe and Kylie's catch-up, right? Kylie told Chloe how she met with Jordan Woods, while she was in Paris. She said she loved how they had a distanced relationship now and were at peace with each other's presence. Kylie then took to a confessional to appreciate how Chloe has always wanted her happiness over everything else. The sisters then proceeded to go to their moms, where, of course, they wanted to try to like pull some like pranks or something like that. And they were trying to like basically catch her, whoever she was having dinner with. But before we continue with anything else, what do we think about the Chloe and Kylie conversation, specifically when it comes to bringing in Jordan?
See, this proves that this iteration of the Kardashians needs to stop because they're just bringing back all these other storylines that we're so over. Like we don't even want to think about it. How do we start the new the Kardashians on Hulu season 1 episode 1 was it? They were talking about the blank tape that Kimberly did. Was it that episode?
Yeah.
Why? It doesn't make sense. We're season 5. Tristrash is still here. After we've defended Chloe, she's over it. People listen to her. You guys aren't listening to Chloe. And then we still have him here. Why? You don't even like the dude. I understand you're co-parenting with him, but why are you just over his house willy-nilly? Right. Now we're going to bring back Keeping Up with the Kardashian drama. I think that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
With Jordan Woods and that whole debacle. Why? Like, that doesn't make any sense. You're right. They don't have any storylines. They
Yeah.
don't need to have this Hulu show. I'm still gonna watch it though, but they don't need to watch this Hulu. They don't need this Hulu show.
Yeah.
They're already famous as is. I
Yeah.
digress. But with this Jordan situation, I don't know if I'm glad that Jordan and Kylie are friends or distant friends,
Yeah.
because I feel like that was, even though Kylie didn't do anything to her, to our recollection or my recollection, I think that so much was done
Hmm.
by your family. Like, how can I? And I guess I'm not a bigger person. How can I forgive you for what your sister did? You guys humiliated me.
Yeah.
If the Smiths, which is Jada and Will and all of them, and the Red Table Talk didn't come through,
Yeah.
it would have been a bloodbath for Jordan.
Yeah.
And on top of that, Jordan was how old? 21, 22? Like,
Yeah.
still a kid, basically,
Yeah.
for grown ass women like the Kardashians in their 30s to be picking on this girl for something her man should have had more wits to him and
Yeah.
not you.
Right.
But yet we're forgiving Tristrash and the other men, like Courtney mentions, and everything's okay. But you still haven't formally apologized to Jordan.
Right.
I mean, I'm glad that they have this healthy boundary, but Kylie has problems with boundaries because we see her with Stas all the time, like lovey dovey, just the way she was with Jordan.
Yeah.
So I don't even know at this point what's the point of that relationship.
I think we did do a video when there was the initial
The sushi.
publications, yeah, that they'd gone out for lunch or for dinner or something like that. And we talked about that, at least at the time, why, like, what would be the point? Like, I really didn't believe that Jordan should have continued a friendship with her. And like you said, it's everything that happened and the way she was treated. I get that maybe Kylie didn't partake, but that doesn't change the fact that, like you said, she was humiliated in front of national TV for not just one episode, but for several. And
And the
then,
storylines.
yeah,
Yeah.
all the headlines, all of the different things that happen, and it all just, to me, it's like Jordan was able to move on with her life perfectly fine without them, and so I feel like she should have just kept it that way. But hey, at the end of the day, if you feel that you are okay with rekindling that relationship, that friendship, that's your choice. But I just hope that it's not something that can come back to bite her
Yeah.
later on, because even though Chloe was trying to say, like, oh yeah, I mean, that's good, I'm happy for you, I still got a feeling from the look on her face that she was like, you
Yeah,
know
I was gonna say her body language was giving I don't approve,
totally, totally.
or I don't know if it's I don't approve or I'm still hurt or I guess I gotta suck it up. I don't know which
Yeah,
one it was. But girl, give Tristan that energy.
I wish. All right. So at the end of the episode, the Kardashians, the ladies gathered in their pajamas at Scott's house for a watch party for Kim's season of American Horror Story. They put a huge projector on with cookies, candies, wine, and chocolates and made a watch party out of it. A nervous Kim was relieved when not only her friends but the reviews online also appreciated her work on the show. After the show, Scott opened a bottle of champagne as everyone celebrated Kim's successful acting rendezvous. Kim too toasted and proudly said, I can officially apply for a star on the Walk of Fame. And that was episode 2. What did we think about the watch party?
Thought it was so weird. People were spazzing about this wine. I'm like, what's going on here?
Yes.
And who is Matt? I want to know who Chris is calling all the time. I would quit if I was your assistant. I'd be like, what? Come clean Scott's wine spot tomorrow morning. What?
Yeah. And then did you hear Scott say, "Oh, I'm getting a new $20,000 couch. We're paying $20,000 for couches? Okay. It's not even your main living room. Like, okay." Very confused.
Uh,
but but
what thing?
so I really didn't care for the watch party. What stuck in my mind was the side eye that North gave to seemingly Malika when they walked in. I thought that was disrespectful AF. And I was just like, what's going on and why are you treating this woman this way? And like Chloe kind of touched on it briefly and just said, "Oh, I see you with the side eye," or something like that, and then just like gave her a hug. But I'm like, she's a child walking into this adult watch party and looking at one of the adults. I just felt off. I was like, that didn't seem right, and it wasn't even acknowledged by Kim. I don't think she noticed. But then also like, why wouldn't Malika say something? Like if she's looking at her some kind of way, like, "Hey, are you okay?" Or like, "What's going on?" I don't know. It was a lot. And I just felt so uncomfortable with that because I'm like, why is a kid being so disrespectful? Like, it was just weird. It was really weird. So I didn't care about the wine being spilled, the $20,000 couch, or Kim's acting. I was like, girl, what's going on with your daughter? That's what I wanted to know.
I have no idea. What stuck out to me was Kim saying, "Now I can apply for a star on the." I'm like, that goes back to Kim needs these accolades. Kim
Yeah,
needs this notoriety. Kim needs to be famous. Like,
yeah.
what is she without fame? She's gonna have a rude awakening once the fame is gone. Then we're moving on to, I don't know, Zendaya or something. Not me though. I can't keep up anymore. I'm so tired.
Okay. What if someone actually nominates her for an award for the show? Can you imagine that Hollywood Walk of Fame star would appear next year for sure? For sure. You know you got to pay for it.
She'll be the Kendall of the acting world.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't think she cares.
I don't think she cares at all. That's what we discussed, I think, in the previous recap of episode 1. Her lack of self awareness. It is immense. Immense.
I
So,
don't think so. Out of all the great shows that there are, and Kim is going to even being nominated is disrespectful.
but if Kim paid allegedly to have North appear in this big budget production of The Lion King, you think she wouldn't pay for a nomination? Allegedly. I'm just saying. I'm just
Oh, I wish I was a billionaire.
girl, let's wrap this up. I can't. I'm done with the show right
Guys,
now.
let us know what you think in the comments about season 5, episode 2. What do we think about Courtney's scrapbook and the vials of blood? Is that a proper memento? How do we even store that? Like, that's so weird. What do we think about Kylie talking to Chloe about, rekindling this friendship with Jordan? Like, should Jordan have just moved on? What was Chloe's body language giving?
Hmm.
What else happened in the episode? Oh, the
Uh,
couch situation.
Couch getting offered a show.
Oh yeah, Kim getting offered the show. Like, what do we think about that? What do you think about our conversation about it? Is she, I don't want to say worthy, but is she
And like, yeah, I mean, Worthy, I guess, would be one. Like, is she entitled to get a show for herself? Like, is she deserving?
deserving? Is she deserving of a show by herself? I guess her starring the show, and there's all these other actors, actresses that are way more qualified, way more talented than she is.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about the Hollywood nepotism slash, I don't know, greed that there is. Let us know
Right.
in the comments. we would love to have this conversation with you guys. That concludes today's episode. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Also, please share our video. We're trying to grow our community so your friends can be our friends and we can all be friends. We also have social media, which Steve will tell you about.
So we're on TikTok and Instagram at Hear Me Out DNE. So make sure you guys like, follow, share, and comment. You can also listen to the videos in podcast format via YouTube Music and Spotify.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.